All right, radio peeps. It's Bob again in 1KPR, and I'm trying to get a full shot of this. Oh, I'm almost falling off my chair. Well, all right, there it is. That's one rack unit. This is an AM monitor. I'll go quick here because you've probably seen a lot of these before. It's an off-air proof of proof of play system that an AMer can take out into the field and record their signal way out in the distance or do field measurements and so on. This is not instrument quality. We have other units for that actually have meters to measure microvolts per meter out in the field and so on. But it's a good, you could use it in the studio or out in the field, in the van, throw it in the trunk of the car. It'll run on 12 volts, whatever you want to do. But let's go through it quick. We'll turn the local guy down. As usual, we've got a antenna in and shunt switch for protection, or for queuing. You could actually queue up with it because you go to shunt and you don't hear anything. We have true RF level, so that if you're near the transmitter site, you don't overload the head end of this thing, when you're in the near field. And as you get farther out, you want to go up to full, which is the calibrated position. I don't know why it isn't there now. There it goes. We've got an active preamp in here that'll do plus 15, plus 10, plus 5. There's unity gain right now. And, of course, some attenuation and a shunt position just to protect the solid-state devices in the preamp. We'll get to that when we look inside. Idiot lights. You don't have to read meters. This would be kind of nice if you're driving the van around. Right now you can see we're doing about 50 microvolts of signal here on this local guy. He's about 10 or 12 air miles from us running the kilowatt on 0.66 megs. Let's go over to, there's one right across the river that's pretty strong. Let's go over to him. And you can see we're 75, maybe 75 plus microvolts. See if we can hear him. That's a Spanish station. It's, I think it's 3 kilowatt. I think it's 3 kilowatts. I'm not sure. We'll go back to the 1 kilowatt. And you can see we drop back down. All right. Audio in terms of VU, this is about as hot as you want to go if you're feeding a 600 ohm audio line. It's roughly about plus 3, plus 6 dB on peaks. So we're calling it a 0 dB 600 ohm line, which is around 0.8 volts. You get some flickering up here, you're at 0 dB. If it comes on solid, you're around plus 3, 4, 5, 6 dB. Modulation, we're just looking at the envelope of the carrier and extracting the envelope and just looking at the audio over an averaging period of time. In this case, it's about 2.5 or 3 seconds to measure the effective power in the carrier. If the carrier envelope is fully modulated, you'll get red up here. It's hard to see that that's red, but it really is. These cameras they all look white, don't they? Funny how it's a beautiful bright red. It's pretty. This is the head end of a Collins aircraft unit. There's other videos on here right now about what I did with making these into off-air monitors. They're good for 200 kilohertz up to 1.8 meg. So as you can see here, we can. I'll crank this up. So you get the fourth digit once you go past 9 here. So we'll go back to this guy, the local guy. What I did is I salvaged or I should say scavenged the head end out of one of the older radios that was pretty much fried. We also have a new project coming up. Keep your eye open for it. We're getting into the loafer business, and we're going to work around 600 meters down in the 500 kilohertz band, 570 kilohertz, or I'm sorry, 470 kilohertz down there. We're going to use one of these. So keep an eye open for that. I decided to do a blue display. Originally, they were a different color. I think it was white or yellow, but now it's blue. And I think it's a lot easier to look at. We'll look at that in a minute, too. Here's the DMOD thing. So you can just glance at this and see green's good, red's bad. We have data on the carrier, or just carrier only. If the guy stops talking, you're going to get a red light here. Or if you lose signal on the STL to the transmitter or something, you're going to have trouble. Here we have selective bandwidth. This is a military carryover. We actually start with a signal A, which is basically telephone audio. Narrow, nominal, which is, I'm trying to remember now, is about 200 hertz to 3K, something like that. Wide, which is a little extension, is a combination or intermediate of full, which is the full 5K signal and as much bass as they're transmitting. I don't know if you can hear that in here. We'll try that and see how that sounds. I don't know if you're going to hear it. That's full. Wide. Full. I don't know if that translates over the mic in this camera. Equalization, tone compensation. Send level, which you send out to the digital recorder or back to the studio, whatever you're going to do. That's the level there. 0 dB. Again, this is instantaneous, so you could almost ignore the next light, but 0 dB is the last green. That's the 0.8 volts on a 600 ohm line, 0 dB. Plus 6, you're going to get flashes because there is stuff riding on the carrier that peaks and trips that thing. And of course, monitor level. You don't need the indicators, but we put them in there anyhow. All right, let's take a look inside. Okay, I'm back. We'll turn the girl down here. Here's our preamp, all nicely shielded and put away. It's 15 dB and it's voltage controlled, so you don't lose noise by attenuating what you don't need. It's a voltage controlled gain. There's a TFT, direct digital synthesis PLL board. There's a chip. BCD controlled. There's the cables back to the Collins unit. I put some nylon shaft extensions on here so that we could tune it. Here's the power supply, very clean. In this case, for the TFT micro board, we need very clean 10 volts and 5 volts for the logic. The audio likes 10, not 12, so that's fine. We could bring in 12 out here, or more, 12 to 18 or more, and still get what we need if you're running generator or from the mobile, from the car battery or whatever. 110 in. See, I got the plastic. I could touch that. It's 110, but it's safe. Speaker and line out. We have the driver controls for the LED displays. I've got 3 antenna jacks here. I put it in RCA because a lot of guys, do plug in, plug out. A lot of times they like the RCAs. There's a BNC and the SO239. I think that's about it inside here. I haven't dressed all the wires, so it's going to be a little bit oogly. But it's a pretty simple radio compared to some of the other ones you may see here. And kind of quick and dirty and actually pretty cheap. So maybe I could entice more of these to get out there into the field. Let's take a look again. We'll go back to the, well, we call it an S meter, but it's a signal strength. Let's go back to the other guy. There's the local. And it's calibrated pretty darn close. 50 here, solid, is an S9. That's 50 microvolts. And of course we're 25 dB apart, which is 4 S units, but gives the guy out in the field a good idea what he's doing. What we're going to do in the future, we're going to have another one of these panels with 3 meters on it. And the meters are going to be S units, VU, and modulation. And it'll sit right on top of this. And it'll plug in the back over here. And it'll replace these. So if the guy wants an accurate reading and he wants to know instead of 50 microvolts, he's 53 microvolts, he'll be able to do that. That's only by demand. If that's what they want, they'll get it. If not, I'm not going to bother. This is probably going to go in the family room for a while, and so we can get the local news, traffic, and weather. So there you have it. Another thing by Bob. Crazy Bob on a rainy Sunday. What a great time to be working on the bench, huh? Thanks, guys. It's www.bobsamerica.com, and my YouTube channel, as you already know, November 1, Kilo Papa Romeo. See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.